Let's quickly analyze Dogecoin, and we're on the monthly chart. And on the monthly chart, at this point in time, we can see that we are still in an upward trending market, which confirms to me that for the most part, based on the monthly chart, I should be looking for potential buy opportunities. Another reason why I say that price is likely to push further up is because we actually have this candlestick over here. If I can just actually mark it properly, what it is a bullish candlestick with a relatively small body and a long upper wick. And what this candlestick tells me is that at the or rather where it stops or where it ends at the top side, we have a lot of liquidity there, and price at some point needs to head up to at least trigger that liquidity, as there is a lot of money actually stuck there. I'm just gonna mark it for now. There we go, there we go, there we go. And from here I'm gonna head down to the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, another thing that motivates that for the most part we should be, or rather I should be, looking for potential buy opportunities is that we have this pattern over here, which is a W formation, or a double bottom. And because it started more or less at this point, ideally we wanna see it end more or less in line with where it had started, which means that I want to see price continue to move all the way to that point to complete that structure at the very least, right? I'm just gonna mark that that area. Just bear with me. There we go. Right now, just based on the weekly chart, I expect the market to at least reach that level, which is the 0.4756 price level, right? Another thing that tells me that we may potentially see price continue to move further up is that as much as we had this W formation, we had also had this neckline over here, and price actually closed above that neckline. And whenever we have these W formations, ideally we want to see price close above that neckline, and then in the future come back to the neckline to test it out. And where we have that neckline is where generally I look for potential buy opportunities, right? However, we can see that after breaking to the upside of that neckline over here, right, price came back to the neckline to test it out. However, price failed, or rather the neckline failed to hold price. Having said that, and nonetheless I still expect price to continue to move further up, just based on the weekly chart, right? And from here I'm going to go to the daily chart, and on the daily chart I'm just going to recap again. Remember that on the weekly chart I spoke about how we have this huge W formation which has a neckline somewhere here, and the anticipation is still for price to continue to move further up. Here we are on the daily chart. On the daily chart, I'm just going to start off by adding my daily channel. Let's have a look. Let's see. Daily channel. There goes my daily channel. Again, it confirms that for the most part, we are in a strong upward trend, and that one should just be looking for potential buy opportunities, right? So here we are on the daily chart. What else do we see? On the daily chart, I really don't see much, except that we have an opposing structure, which is this overextended double top. And again, just like with that W structure that we spoke about on the monthly chart, the structure started here, and we may potentially see the market actually move further down to around that level to complete that structure and to close in line with where it had started, right? There's a possibility. However, I would love to see price actually at the very least move further down to around here, right? Why do I say that level? That is because that's where we have this trend line, and already we have a first rejection here, second rejection here, and in the future I would love to see a third rejection there. And if that happens, that's where I will be looking to potentially buy to around here. And again, why do I say this level? That is because, remember, if I can just zoom out a bit, let's have a look. Or rather, if I can go back to the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we said that we had this. If I can just draw it, just bear with me. We said that we have this W formation, and it has a neckline around there somewhere, right? And again, we may potentially see price from where it is actually move to there, alright? However, having said that, the bigger structure is, or rather the most important level is this level over here, which is the 0.4756 level, right? Short term, just to go back to the daily chart, short term, I would love to see price, as I said, bounce off of this area and move to that point, and this would be my first take profit if I do indeed find any good buy opportunities around this level, right? And my second take profit, if I can just zoom out, should be around, let's have a look. My second take profit, I'm just going to go back to the weekly chart. My second take profit should be around here somewhere at the 0.4756 level, right? Anyway, I'm just going to head down to that daily chart again. What else do we see in regards to the daily chart? As much as I'm saying that ideally I want to see price actually come back to this level to give it a test and then push further up, what may possibly happen also is that because the market had given us this overextended W formation, which again has a neckline there somewhere here, right? Price may only come back to that level and then push further up. So I'm going to look for potential buy opportunities where we have that neckline of that W formation. And then from here, I'm just going to head down to the H4 chart. On the H4 chart, I'm just going to fix my channel somewhat. And let's zoom in and see what's happening. Let's see, right? On the H4 chart, we can see that price opened at this level over here, moved further down, went up, came back to the level again to test it. And we also have a very strong level of support there, as we had multiple rejections, as you can see. And as much as I want to see price come back to the neckline of this W formation, right, which is somewhere here, or to test or to give us a third rejection of rather on that trend line, right, price, because it has already given us this or rather what seems to be a W formation here, may just continue to move further up. I hope you guys can see that, because it rejected at a very strong level of support, as you guys can see. I hope that makes sense.